Dick Roberts.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
So I'm gonna. And I'm not having a.
My guess is
The
there's a speaker here or here. I'm not sure where. But
Yeah. I wish you would have a sense. Because now when I say you're Tim guy.
Then you we're gonna hold off on that because
Well, no, that's great. Yeah, no, we.
well, I mean, the video is pretty bad, but at the same time, is that what's working right now?
And at least you can hear when you get to the township, you can't even hear it.
But I'm trying
So,
to.
yeah, what we'll want to do is work with the recommend that we talk to the guy from DATV.
Right.
To see what he would like, because that way we can feed him stuff that's easier. Sure. Make it go directly to electronic, that way, and there's ways to put it away.
I can put CDs to the YouTube. That's what I did.
Once we get there,
But they still have.
and we've talked about, this is an offer 50%.
Right.
So, you know, if we ever do anything,
We own it for
would
20
we put screens up here again? Would we use them? We're not gonna use them since we put them in. I mean, the way they do
We'd
things.
have had a fifth one here.
Yes, workshops is nice, that you can do it.
Right.
You don't really need to.
Are the, is the breaker smooth?
So this,
Way they get rid of this, or at least
so this will still
to
be
where
here.
it'll be movable.
See, all the cords will be disconnected, and you can move this around wherever you want.
Oh, that's good. So it'll be wireless.
Yeah, so it'll have its own wireless mic. Then we'll also have another wireless mic that she can use for proclamations and things like that.
Cool.
So it'll be separate.
That'll be nice.
And then Missy will get her own microphone finally.
Oh, that's
She
good.
doesn't have a microphone.
Right, yeah, I know her and Candace always share one, so oh, that'll be good.
So
It's
yep,
needed.
then they'll put a new sound processor in there, which helps everything. I guess. So
Right.
should be nice.
Yeah, that's good, because it's needed for sure.
Everybody that came in laughed at our projector.
Yeah.
So, were you here before? My guess is it used to face that.
I was not here then. It's always been this way.
My guess is that the screen
Problem.
and that probably used to go that way.
Yeah, you're probably right. Oh yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. I'll bet you that was.
There was some kind of automated control.
Right.
I mean, rough patches here and there, but Bonnie's lost a ton of weight.
Do you want to do right along? Maybe just hide here.
There we go. They'll do it. Yeah, that would be fun.
I do need one.
It is.
I just don't want thanks, my friend. Thanks, my boss. I like.
Well, yeah.
I got your letter the other day. I'm not going to print it. I was going to email you back. And B, it's got some errors in it. Do I? You know, here's the thing. I'm not propping up your kids' candidates. You know that, right? And I can't do that. You think that's what I was doing? No, I just. But you, and one thing, absolutely, once you're within 90 days of election day, you can't help it.
I don't know. I just learned. I just learned here.
Don't be so green.
Because I keep hearing I can do gay face, but not for about this.
And I think the same thing. I'm just not.
How you doing? Good. You? All right.
But yeah, you definitely got to shorten that. It's a 350 word limit. It's in our 11 policy that we published.
I know what costs.
Right. Yes. Yes, it does.
Okay.
The only one who doesn't have word count is me. Look how articulate. But you want me to edit that?
I'll get back to you.
1001.
Don't forget to turn your mics on. The June 19th, 2017 City of Vandalia Council meeting will now come to order. The first thing on our agenda is a moment of reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Thank you. Would you please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council, you've had the opportunity to review the council study session minutes of May the 15th and also the council meeting minutes of May the 15th. Are there any adjustments to be made to those? Seeing none, they'll stand approved. We have no communication, petitions, or awards this evening, nor do we have any public hearings. And that brings us to comments from interested citizens. If there's someone in the audience who would like to address council, would you please come to the podium, state your name and address for our records, and your comment.
Yeah, Richard Long, 1734 Ashworth in Vandalia. And I don't know if it's the right time, I guess, but I talked to the city manager when I was up here the last time about a crosswalk at Stone Quarry and Peters for the Morton School. And I understand it's in the township, but my thing is these are all Vandalia kids that do use that crosswalk. It's not township kids, it's Vandalia students. And I'm just worried that some time or another someone's going to get hit. And we've got push buttons there for the crosswalks. It's a shame that we can't get the lines put down for the crosswalks and even sidewalks, you know, to get to the rec center. A lot of these kids go to the rec center after school. But, you know, I would like to be able to see maybe somebody from council, you know, if it's in the township and it deals with township, deals with PTA, whoever, you know, the three entities get together and try to figure out what we could do to resolve that issue.
Thank you, Mr. Long. I'm going to ask Mr. Cruzy to address.
Yeah, I actually just had a conversation last week.
I think you said you'd done the study and you turned it over to the PTA, correct?
I don't recall that.
I thought that's what you said.
No, I mean, I just had a conversation last week with the school district's new superintendent who's going to take over July 1, as well as the township administrator, and they were talking about the need to get sidewalks to both middle schools. So I think we're going to be meeting here in the next couple of weeks to kind of come up with a plan on how we could get sidewalks to Morton Middle School.
Right.
You know, one of the issues you run into, that's a county road, Stone Quarry is. So
Right.
They got to figure out who's going to pay for that crossing.
Now, the Stone Quarry, that's county, correct?
That's correct.
So really, we're dealing with the county, the township, and
City and the schools, yes.
And the school.
Yeah.
So I know getting four of them together probably is a struggle, but, you know, I think for the kids' sake, you know, it would be well worth the while to be able to do something.
Yeah, I agree there's a need for sidewalks out there. It's a matter of everybody doing their part and trying to
Correct.
get that coordinated. I know,
Yeah.
you know, the township had applied for grant funds through ODOT, and that wasn't funded, so now we're having to look for alternate ways to get those improvements in. But, yeah, we just had a talk about that with them last week. So
Great. So at least something's being done, right?
Yes.
Now, what about you know, when they installed the traffic light poles and everything, you know, the push buttons are there. It's just, you know, having the sign walk, don't walk, and just painting the crosswalks.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I wasn't here when that was put in, so I'm not sure what they did or why they did what they did.
Yeah, I don't either.
With the push buttons or the crosswalks out there. So unfortunately. So I don't have a good answer for you
Yeah.
on that.
I mean, at least have some kind of security if we do have the crosswalks,
Yeah.
citizens know that pedestrians do have a little bit of a right-of-way, where these kids have nothing to protect them.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
But again, the school didn't put sidewalks in when they built the school.
Right, I don't understand why
they've got
they
to do
did.
their part on the other side
Yeah.
of the road as well. So.
Right. Okay.
The good thing is the issue is not dead, and the four parties are still talking and so forth. So sooner than later, probably something will be accomplished.
Okay.
Did you have a comment? Did you have a comment? Oh, I'm sorry.
Holly Wiggins, 660 Castle Creek Drive. My issue is much less important than his was, because I agree, safety. But I wanted to remind the residents that were here and council and those that are business owners that you can go out onto the DPNL website, register up. It's mydpnl.com, or you can go to our regular website, dpnl.com, and get to it and get your account set up that way. We're changing vendors that are processing our payments, so if you use a credit card, the payment fees are lower. It also gives you access to the history of your account. And there's some other advantages. Those that have multiple accounts with their businesses can collapse many of those into one account, so you've got one spot to look for those things and a much easier way to make payment. So I just wanted to remind you that was available. And if the residents pay attention, they're having a contest to get folks to sign up starting the end of June and going into July. There'll be some prizes and things that you can win. So keep an eye out for that if you are somebody who wants to win fancy prizes by signing up. Thank you.
What's a fancy prize?
I am not sure. I think I think there may be some gift cards, but they're pushing some of those energy efficiency thermometers and things. So there may be a thermostat in there, and there's rebates on those going on the website as well. So,
Okay, great.
all right.
So go to the website, huh?
Yep.
Okay, thank you so very much. Anyone else have a comment?
Jack Froschauer, 11600 Castle Road. I asked Missy to print something off, and she's going to pass it around for all of you that I found kind of interesting. And John, I have some kind of negative remarks, and I'm sorry about that. I really am. The gang can kind of be in their executive session. My best pass is just here, so I'll tell you that on the front end. Did you pass those around?
Yeah, they're coming.
Okay. The fact of the matter is, I told Bridget before the folks all came in that I was doing some research, and along the way, I found this among the fly pages in the annual financial report. And I thought it was important. It's important that because it shows that number one in this city is the citizens of Vandalia. And then right below that comes the city council. And then comes the city manager and the various departments. Number one is the citizens, and I bring that to your attention because 3 weeks ago, one of those number one position residents posted on Facebook a video of a truck that was reckless on Peters Pike. And I understand, I talked to Rob, I know Peters Pike is partially the city, and only some of it is under our jurisdiction. But the point remains the same. The truck issue continues to be a problem. And I shared that video with Mr. Cruzy. And he responded that the city had posted signs trying to send the trucks over to Airport Access Road. And he further advised that nothing could be done on Route 40. Well, friends, I am likely even more sick of fooling around with this than all of you. 2 years later, no remedy. January, 6 months ago, you authorized $16,000 for a consultant. Still nothing. And now I see in the city manager evaluation, you instruct Mr. Cruzy to fix it sometime soon. Are you kidding me? Really? Either he doesn't want to get rid of the trucks, doesn't know how, or just could care less. And I don't even want to fool around with it anymore. But I went ahead and emailed the ODOT director for District 7. I got very familiar with him during the great railroad controversy. he reiterated to me what he told me then, that jurisdiction over policing and maintenance on 40 falls to the municipality. And this is not the first time that I've copied Cruzy on this, and he just doesn't want to seem to accept that or figure out how to use it to solve the problem. Meanwhile, he reports that the consultant has an idea to stop traffic from turning off of 25A to head west. For crying out loud. That's not really the big problem. If that's the best we've gotten from a consultant, not one decent remedy in 6 months, then to me, I'd say we're getting ripped off. And I reached out to an acquaintance of mine who is a trucker. And he shared the remarks with me, and I shared them with Mr. Cruzy and all of you. And as the mayor remarked, his vocabulary was colorful. But his suggestion was the same as I've told Mr. Cruzy for almost 2 years. Bear down on the truck drivers, costing them time and fines. That's what Pat told you. That's what I've been saying for 2 years. And they'll stop using 40. Well, first, it was when I suggested it seemed somehow unfair. Now the excuse is it'll require another patrolman. It makes me ask, don't we have police on the west side of town? Loud and clear, there's no mistake about my idea. If you do not want to change the traffic laws, of which we are in charge, then give Mr. Cruzy a directive to have the chief enforce the laws on semi-tractor trailers using 40. And I'm going to tell you, I believe the problem will be resolved. I can tell you this, there's a candidate for council. Her name is Amber Weaver, and she's been engaging residents to discuss a variety of issues. She sent me a message because somehow the trucking is my platform. But she sent me a message to tell me that residents find the truck situation dangerous. She also sent me an observation from a guy that she had talked to. Same thing. I told all of you at the February community morning deal at the library that the number one issue to folks is this truck issue. And here we are 6 months later with no change, other than spending money without really getting a solution. Are we waiting until the trucks shortcutting down Peters Road or traveling recklessly through downtown hurt somebody? Why in the world would you allow the city manager to not do his job to the possible peril of school kids near all that uncontained truck traffic? I mentioned that the subject of truck traffic is mentioned in the public document produced by council and captioned as the city manager evaluation. I'm sure there's nothing shady about it, but why would you have to make an emergency resolution number 1710 to handle a contract for the highest paid employee of the city? But more puzzling is that the guy scores below average by your own ratings. Yet all of you voted unanimously on a 2-year contract. A guy that shows absolutely no initiative, yet he's paid over $130,000, and you vote 7-0. Something's wrong there. But then there's the thing, citizens, they're number one. They're number one right here. In this city, deserve to know why you all voted to retain a substandard manager. That's how you graded him. Because it's our city where we live, well, except for Mr. Cruzy, and those are number one residents, your friends and neighbors. They deserve way better. I think I deserve better. This evaluation is filled with apologies for John not being a good communicator in a job that requires communication skills, and that he lacks personal energy. Are you joking? I asked in February.
I don't think we need a public lynching of our city manager. If you'd like to talk to us in private about that, you're more than welcome.
It's a public document. You passed it 7-0.
But I've seen your emails. 3/4 of the stuff that you're talking about is not true.
Now, I'd watch myself there, Bob.
Yeah, you better watch yourself because you're quoting salaries, which is untrue. It's not correct. You're quoting other information that I think is semi-accurate. So we understand you, Jack. We've talked a long time. You've been with us for quite some time.
Yeah.
Had discussions, but
Sure.
I think you're carrying a little bit too far tonight.
I would just like to say that I think that you have come to the point that you wanted to mention in the very beginning. And if you could sort of summarize anything left.
I'll let it go right there.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else? Seeing none, we'll go on with the city manager's report with the information item about the Star Spangled Celebration Sports Complex.
Thank you, Your Honor. I got, 2 items this evening. First one is, again, regarding the Star Spangled Celebration. So, again, the City of Vandalia and Butler Township will once again present the Star Spangled Celebration on Monday, July 3rd. It will begin at 7 p.m. This year's event is sponsored by Fifth Third Bank, Bo Townsend Ford, Lincoln, and Nissan, Joseph Airport, Toyota, Scion, and Hyundai, and Smedley Chevrolet, with additional support from Digital Cowboys Computers. Entertainment is going to be provided by the group This Side Up. Our fireworks will begin at 10 p.m., and in case of rain, the fireworks will be held on Friday, July 7th. However, if that occurs, there will be no entertainment. And also want to remind the residents that city offices are going to be closed on Tuesday, July 4th, in observance of the Independence Day holiday. However, the rec center will be open on July 4th from 7 a.m. to noon, but only the fitness area, the track, and the gymnasium.
Okay, thank you. So the city building will be open on Monday.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Monday, July 3rd.
Action items, boards and commission terms expiring. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, so council has been provided we got a list of those board and commission members who have requested reappointment. Again, and that's for those folks whose terms expire June 30th of this year.
Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the new terms for the boards and commissions that's been submitted.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Ehlers, second by Councilman Herbst, that we do approve the terms expiring for them to continue for our boards and commissions, and we did get a list of those.
That is correct.
So, everybody, does anybody have a question first? Everybody okay? Call the roll, please.
And John, I just want to point out that we are doing this as a slate as for convenience, and we did discuss this at the last work session, not
Right.
tonight, but it was a choice of council to vote all as one as opposed to individual.
Right.
And with that, Councilmember Farce,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Donation of the fire truck, Mr. Cruzy.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, there's been a request to donate our 1979 fire engine, which was recently replaced by a new 2016 rescue engine, to the Miami Valley Career Technology Center. The engine has been posted on GovDeals twice and failed to sell. The city previously donated an engine to the CTC in 2013 for its high school fire and EMS program. The fire department has hired 12 of the school's graduates over the past 2 years, and we just recently brought 5 additional part-time firefighters on board from CTC.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll move that we approve the donation of the fire truck to the Miami Valley Career Technology Center.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Herbst, second by Councilman Blakesley, that we do donate the fire truck to the CTC. Any questions or comments?
Just, I didn't know if I heard you say that it had been offered on GovDeals twice, which
Correct. Yes.
was important. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Councilmember Farce,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. We have no old business this evening, and that brings us to our resolutions. The first one being 17-R-55. Mr. McDonald?
17R55, a resolution to enter into an agreement for stop-loss coverage with Standard Life Insurance Company.
Thank you, Mr. Cruzy.
Thank you, Your Honor. So we did receive 3 quotes for our stop-loss coverage. Several other companies declined to quote because they could not be competitive. The city's plan year runs July 1 through June 30 of each year. The only proposed change to our current plan is to increase our specific deductible from $45,000 to $50,000. Our total maximum cost under this agreement is estimated to increase about 2%, from $2,424,535 to $2,472,723.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve Resolution 17R55 as noted.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Farr, second by Councilman Ayers, that we do approve Resolution 17-R-55 as presented. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Blakeslee?
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst?
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Councilmember Ayers?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Resolution 17-R-56. Mr. McDonald?
17R56, a resolution to enter into an agreement for legal services with Jackson Lewis.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. So the city has utilized the services of Denlinger, Rosenthal, and Greenberg as outside legal counsel for collective bargaining and negotiations, as well as personnel matters, since 2004. On January 1 of this year, the lawyers at DRG joined national labor and employment law firm Jackson Lewis. Therefore, it's necessary for council to approve the engagement letter with Jackson Lewis, since the cost of these services will most likely exceed $10,000.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Make motion to approve Resolution 17R-76 as read.
56, second.
Thanks for clarifying.
It's been moved by Councilman Blakeslee, second by Councilman Gerhardt, that we do approve Resolution 17-R-56. Questions? Would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Ayers?
Yes.
Councilmember Blakeslee?
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst?
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Resolution 17-R-57. Mr. McDonald?
17R57, a resolution waiving the formal bidding process and authorizing the purchase of 3 Motorola mobile radios requested by the Division of Fire from Motorola Solutions through P&R Communications, Inc. in the amount of $15,331.29.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, so the fire department budgeted $20,000 for the final phase of its Marks radio upgrade, which involves the purchase of 3 Motorola portable radios. P&R Communications is the exclusive vendor for Motorola in this region. The radio purchase would ensure that every firefighter working has a portable radio, as well as a spare at the station for firefighters who are recalled or working on extra alarm fires. The remaining funds will be used to purchase a new base station for Station 2, and as well as 3 headsets for the drivers and operators of the fire trucks.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve Resolution 17-R-57.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Ayler, second by Vice Mayor Lewis, that we do approve Resolution 17-R-57 as presented. Comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Gerhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst?
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Councilmember Ayers?
Yes.
Councilmember Blakeslee?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Resolution 17-R-58. Mr. McDonald?
A resolution waiving the formal bidding process and authorizing the purchase and installation of audio equipment from Soundforce, Inc. for the Council Chambers Upgrade Project requested by the Information Technology Department in the amount of $11,595.55 and declaring the existing items being replaced surplus property.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. So 3 quotes were received for upgrades to the sound system here in the council chambers. Soundforce submitted the lowest and best quote to install 2 side speaker arrays with a combination of wired and wireless microphones.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve Resolution 17-R-58.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Gerhardt, second by Councilman Blakesley, that we do approve Resolution 17-R-58. Comments?
Just for all you out there that can't hear us all the time, and hopefully this will change that. And thank you to Darren, I guess. Oh, there you are. We went back and forth, and he had to provide a lot of information to come up with this number and equipment. So thank you, and hopefully it'll relieve that inability for the people in the back to be able to hear council. Thank you.
The only thing I was going to add is, as I mentioned in the workshop, that $11,595 seemed like a lot of money, and I didn't realize that audiovisual equipment costs quite so much, but I took several of the bids that Darren provided us with, and I Googled each of the part numbers. I looked for the best price I could find anywhere, and those prices were in line, so I was a little surprised that this stuff costs so much.
Anyone else? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Farce?
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers?
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley?
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Resolution 17-R-59. Mr. McDonald?
A resolution waiving the formal bidding process and authorizing the city manager to enter into a renewal software maintenance agreement with Harris Global Software in the amount of $25,087.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. The police department has contracted with Harris Global Software, parent company of Cisco Public Safety, since 1999 for software maintenance for the department's public safety software that is used for dispatching police, fire, and EMS, as well as integrated records management and mobile reporting. This proprietary software can only be maintained by Harris.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Your Honor, I'll move that we approve Resolution 17-R-59 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Lewis, second by Councilman Ehlers, that we do approve Resolution 17-R-59. Once again, are there any comments? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers?
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley?
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard?
Yes.
Councilmember Farce?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Resolution 17-R-60. Mr. McDonald?
17R60, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Meter Investment Management Company for investment management services.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. The company that the city currently utilizes for the management of its investments, which is Bondtech, recently became affiliated with the Midwest Management Company. So during this transition period, the city evaluated its existing investment portfolio and explored options with several investment management companies. So based upon the recommendations of several area cities, and after meeting with representatives from Meter and representatives from those other companies, the Finance Department is recommending that we contract with Meter Investment Management.
Is there a motion?
Your Honor, I'll move that we approve Resolution 17-R-60 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Lewis, second by Councilwoman Farce, that we do approve Resolution 17-R-60. And I would just like to make the comment was that I did appreciate the idea that they did come in and talk to all of us. It certainly, they were able to answer any of our questions and so forth immediately. It was very helpful. Anyone else?
No, felt the same way. They gave a really thorough look at their management style and so forth. I appreciated that.
Anyone else? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Ehlers?
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley?
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard?
Yes.
Councilmember Farce?
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Resolution 17-R-61. Mr. McDonald?
A resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with Montgomery County regarding building inspection services.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Okay. Yeah, so back in 2016, the city entered into a cooperative agreement with Montgomery County Building Regulations for inspection services on an as-needed basis and contingent upon workload and availability. The fee per inspection was $40. Over the past year, the city performed 72 inspections for the county, primarily electrical, generating over $3,200 in revenue. The city did not require any inspection services from Montgomery County. Montgomery County has requested a 3-year renewal of the current agreement. Inspection fees would be increased to $45 in 2017 and then $50 for 2018 and 2019.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve Resolution 17-R-61.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Gerhardt, second by Councilman Blakesley, that we do approve Resolution 17-R-61. Are there any comments? Is my understanding then, if indeed we would like to get out of this, we can at any time?
Correct.
Yes, they call it, it's on an as-needed basis and as available basis, meaning if they need us, they'll give us a call. If we're available, we'll help them out. If not, we pass and it goes to someone else.
Good. Anyone else? Would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Blakesley?
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Farce?
Yes.
Councilmember Hers?
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Resolution 17-R-62. Mr. McDonald.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an economic development government equity agreement with Montgomery County Office of Economic Development regarding the Laystar C2G project and to enter into an accompanying EDGE agreement with the EDGE applicant.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. So going back to March of 2016, Mr. Shackelford presented the Lastar Cables to Go project to the EDGE Committee for potential funding. We then did review this project with Council at your March 20th study session this year. So this resolution does authorize an EDGE agreement with Montgomery County for the Lastar Cables to Go project. The project involves the relocation of the company from Moraine to Vandalia, the retention or relocation of 125 jobs, again, which are new to Vandalia, has a payroll of $6.7 million, and an investment. The investment's actually $1.5 million. That's the amount that's EDGE eligible. The EDGE request, it was approved for funding at the $50,000 level for this project, and Cables to Go recently committed to relocate the business to 6500 Poe Avenue, which is the South Stratacache building.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve Resolution 17-R-62 as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Farr, second by Councilman Ehlers, that we do approve Resolution 17-R-62 as presented. Any comments? All in favor? When you call the roll.
You threw me there for a second. Councilmember Gerhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Farce?
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers?
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Resolution 17-R-63, Mr. McDonald.
A resolution renaming the Vandalia Recreation Center in honor of Bruce E. Sucher.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy, I'm going to invite Larry Taylor up, please, and for him to make some comments about this. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me up. Hello. My name is Larry Taylor. Yes, it's true. I am was good friends with Bruce Sucher for a lot of years. Bruce is, he's given his life to this town. He loved it with every fiber of his body. I said to him one time, he came in my office and we sit and talked, and I said, you know, Bruce, with your education and your skill set, I said, you know, you could have been a very wealthy man. I said, you're a $500,000, $1 million a year man in the private sector, but you chose to stay here. He said, Larry, I am a wealthy man. He said, not in money, but I have served the citizens of this town. It's been very rewarding for me to watch this town grow. What a comment. I mean, if you don't love that, you don't love. And then even after he did retire, had a few health issues and retired from the city manager's position, I talked him into running for the school board. And so he did that, and within a month he was just a natural leader. He became president of our school board. Just a phenomenal man. And, serving as a city manager of this town, John, can be tough at times. But I admire you. I admire all the council. It's a thankless job. You don't do it for any other reason other than you love our city, as Bruce did. And I thank you all for listening to me and taking time to consider this for Bruce and his family. What an honor. The man absolutely loved this town. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Did you want to add anything?
I'm not sure there's anything to add.
Okay, thank you. With that, I will take a motion.
Your Honor, I'll move that we approve Resolution 17R63.
Second.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Lewis, second by Councilman Gerhart, that we do approve Resolution 17-R-63. Anybody else like to make comment?
Could you explain
I'd just like to make one.
what they're going to do? I'm sorry.
Yeah, look, go ahead, Bob.
I'd just like to make one comment, Larry. We also like to thank you for your personal involvement in this. And I spoke to a lot of citizens about Bruce and the renaming of our rec center, and I had 100% agreement. So I know the emotions are still pretty raw. It hasn't been that long since Bruce passed away, and he's sorely missed. So thanks again for your help and involvement.
I wanted you to explain how they're going to handle that, and I've already gotten used to saying Sucre Center, so I think that goes really well. And he was a very appreciated part of our community. I think anybody who knew him knew that he put everything he had back into Vandalia, and I think it's a very rewarding for us to be able to do this in his name.
I know, may I call upon you, Steve, because I know that we've talked a little bit about how we're going to be recognizing it, and did we finally come up with the wording that we were going to have?
Not yet. I was waiting for the official part of it, but
Okay.
I've done some research on like a bronze plaque for the lobby, and then redoing our signage at the entrance to the park.
So that's yet to come. Do you think that it'll be before the fall, that this can be, okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you so very much. Anyone else?
Well, I know that we all wanted to make the motion, and I know we all wanted to second it at the same time. But it's a great way to honor a good man that did so much for this community, as Mr. Taylor pointed out, both for the city and the school district. And he did have one mission in mind, and that was the citizenry of the community. And Bruce would be proud and honored, but I think he would say that I don't deserve it, because that's the kind of man that he was. And but I think we all agree that he does deserve it.
He had a lot of patience about a lot of things that went on, but I think that it was the rec center that was his baby. Because whenever I come up to the office, he'd say, "Get a hard hat, Arlene. Let's go over. Let's see what they're doing today." And so, yeah, I think that we all have very fond memories of situations that we worked with him, some that turned out to be things that citizens would never know about and everything, the water system and how he knew about all of the, when you get this job, you learn about all the things that are underground, so to speak. And he was very, very much up to all of that. And then being a police officer and a police chief, and it just goes on and on. So, yes, he's very, very worthy of acknowledgement. And this is probably the best way to acknowledge him.
I thought it was interesting that his influence is still very present today, because when we tried to figure out the way in which to honor him with the Parks and Rec Board, we tried to figure out the most cost-effective way to do that, and that's straight from his influence in the community.
Great. I guess we're ready for the roll call.
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Sesser.
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Resolution 17-R-64. Mr. McDonald?
A resolution authorizing the termination of the Capital Improvement Reserve Fund and transfer of its funds back to the general fund.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, so this ordinance would dissolve the Capital Improvement Reserve Fund, which is no longer needed for city operations. The remaining balance of $656,238.89 would be transferred to the general fund. Thereafter, $250,000 will be transferred from the general fund to the Facilities Improvement Fund for a future public works facility, per council's direction during your 2017 budget review sessions.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Move that we approve Resolution 17R64.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Ayler, second by Councilman Herbst, that we do approve Resolution 17-R-64. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0. We have the first reading of our ordinance 1714. Mr. McDonald?
1714, an ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of notes in the maximum principal amount of $1,514,000 in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purposes of acquiring approximately 201 acres of real property bounded generally by U.S. Route 40, Peters Pike, Stone Quarry Road, and Dogleg Road in support of economic development and job creation within the city and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Cruzy.
Thank you, Your Honor. So the purchase of land and the construction of infrastructure for Stone Quarry Crossings has been financed since 2006 by the issuance of bond anticipation notes that must be renewed annually. The total amount currently due is $2,039,000 in principal, plus $40,667 in interest. And due to the sale proceeds from the Morton site and the Independent Can, a total of $525,000 will be paid toward the principal balance. Therefore, the remaining principal balance on the notes will be $1,514,000. Council is asked to consider this ordinance as an emergency at your July 17th meeting.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Your Honor, move that we approve ordinance 1714 in its first reading.
Second.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Lewis, second by Councilwoman Vars, that we do approve Ordinance 17-14 in its first reading. Any comments? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Ordinance 17-15. Mr. McDonald?
Ordinance 715, an ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of notes in the maximum principal amount of $3,259,000 in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purposes of paying the cost of refunding bonds originally issued by the city for the purpose of paying cost of A, improving the municipal complex by constructing, equipping, and improving a justice center to house the courts and the police department and related activities, renovating, equipping, and improving the municipal building, constructing relating parking facilities, and acquiring real property and interest therein in connection therewith, altogether with the necessary appurtenances thereto, and B, constructing, equipping, and furnishing a municipal community recreation center, including a gymnasium, swimming pool, track, fitness area, lockers, office, and other recreational and related support facilities, altogether with necessary appurtenances thereto, and acquiring real property and interest therein in connection therewith, and declaring an emergency.
Did you write that?
No, I did not write this one.
Yeah.
Mr. Cruzy?
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. Okay, so the bond anticipation notes related to the 1996 bonds that were issued for the Rec Center, Justice Center Municipal Building project are due to mature on September 7th. The notes are scheduled to be retired in 2021, which is when the original bonds would have been retired. The total amount due is $4,076,000 in principal, plus $71,132 in interest. The 2017 budget appropriated $817,000 towards principal plus the interest cost. The reissuance of the Rec Center, Justice Center Municipal Building notes will be combined with the issuance of the fire truck notes in order to save issuance cost, which is the next item on your agenda. And again, this ordinance is also requested to be considered as an emergency at your July 17th meeting.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve ordinance 17-15 in its first reading.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Ayler, second by Councilman Herbst, that we do approve ordinance 1715 as presented. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Blakesley?
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard?
Yes.
Councilmember Farce?
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Ordinance 17-16, Mr. McDonald.
1716, an ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of notes in the maximum principal amount of $432,000 in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of paying the cost of acquiring a fire apparatus, together with all appurtenances thereto, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Cruzy.
Thank you, Your Honor. So these notes are related to the 2016 purchase of the new rescue fire engine and are also set to expire September 7th. The principal amount due is $480,000. The 2017 budget includes $48,000 toward principal and $8,377 in interest. The remaining principal balance will be $432,000. Again, the fire truck notes will be combined and reissued with the Rec Center, Justice Center Municipal Building notes in order to save issuance cost. And this ordinance is also requested to be considered as an emergency at your July 17th meeting.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Your Honor,
I'll make a motion.
Good.
That we approve ordinance 17-16 in its first reading.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Gerhard, second by Councilwoman Farce, that we do approve ordinance 1716 in its first reading. Any comments?
I just had a question. Why are we approving it as an emergency the next time if we had a first and a second reading?
Well, because we can't wait the 30 days for it to become effective, but we have the ability to give it 2 readings, so we prefer to give it 2 readings.
Okay, 2 readings, but
Correct.
then it'll go into effect immediately.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I just was wanting clarification.
Anybody else? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Gerhard?
Yes.
Councilmember Farce?
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers?
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0. Ordinance 17-17, Mr. McDonald.
An ordinance rezoning part of the property generally located at the northeast corner of I-75 and Northwoods Boulevard from Office Industrial Park to Highway Business and amending the zoning map of the city.
Excuse me. Mr. Cruzy.
Thank you, Your Honor. So CSX Realty Development is requesting a rezoning of approximately 5.46 acres located at the northeast corner of I-75 and Northwoods Boulevard from Office Industrial Park to Highway Business. The 1985 Comprehensive Plan's future land use map does project this area for Office Industrial Park development, again, which matches its current zoning. The future land use map projects the shops at Northwoods Plaza, or the Kroger Plaza, for Office Industrial Park development as well. However, that property was rezoned to Gateway Business back in 2001. The zoning code did establish standards for zoning map amendments, which states that the Planning Commission shall not recommend the adoption of a proposed amendment unless it finds that the adoption of such an amendment is in the public interest and not solely in the interest of the applicant. So the Planning Commission did review this rezoning request at its May 23rd meeting and voted 3-0 to recommend denial.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that we deny ordinance 17-17 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Farce and second by Councilman Ehlers that we deny the request. Is that right? Okay. Any comments from anybody? Would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakeslee,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion 7-0 to deny the the rezoning. Ordinance 17-18, Mr. McDonald.
1718, an ordinance approving a planned unit development final development plan for Lot 3 of the 40 West development, formerly referred to as the Vandalia Office Park and located at 205 West National Road.
Thank you, Mr. Cruzy.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, so Health Corps has submitted a PUD final development plan for lot number 3 of the 40 West development. The proposed 8,000 square foot medical office will house 2 tenants. Dr. Volka, local dentist, will be the primary tenant. Access to the building will be provided via a shared ingress-egress easement between this building and the Pri-Med building that is under construction. The applicant is proposing 3 25 square foot wall signs, where only 1 sign per tenant is permitted for a multifamily dwelling. The request for each tenant to have a wall sign in addition to a building identification sign on the south facade facing National Road. The Planning Commission did review this final development plan at its May 23rd meeting. They voted 3-0 to recommend approval, subject to several conditions. First is that the parties agree that only the following uses will be permitted on the property, and those are the uses that Council authorized as part of the original PUD development plan. That the dumpster enclosure will comply with the requirements of the city's code and will be of complementary color and material to the primary structure, and the applicant be limited to 1 wall side per tenant for 2 signs, not to exceed the requirement that are set forth in our city in the sign code for office and service zoning districts.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the ordinance 17-18, subject to the recommendations made by the Planning Commission.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Forrest, second by Councilman Blakeslee, that we do approve ordinance 17-18 with the added recommendations from the Planning Commission. Comments? Seeing none, please call a roll.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakeslee,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Ordinance 17-19, Mr. McDonald.
An ordinance authorizing an adjustment to the boundary line between the City of Dayton, Ohio, and the City of Vandalia, Ohio, by agreement of both municipalities pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 709.37.
Thank you, Mr. Cruzy.
Thank you, Your Honor. So we have received a proposal from the City of Dayton for a boundary adjustment for a 1.1432 acre parcel located on the north side of National Road between Airport Access Road and Concord Drive. The subject parcel is located within the City of Vandalia, but is owned by the City of Dayton and surrounded on 3 sides by the City of Dayton. The requested boundary adjustment would change the corporate boundary line to remove the parcel from the City of Vandalia and place it within the City of Dayton. Per the terms of the accompanying intergovernmental agreement, the City of Dayton would pay Vandalia $34,296 as compensation for the boundary adjustment.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve ordinance 17-19.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Ehlers, second by Vice Mayor Lewis, that we do approve Resolution 17-19. Any comments? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakeslee,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard,
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0. The last ordinance for this evening in its first reading is ordinance 17-20. Mr. McDonald.
An ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances and certain resolutions as part of the various component codes of the codified ordinances, providing for the adoption of and publication of new matter in the updated and revised codified ordinances, and repealing ordinances and resolutions in conflict therewith.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. So this ordinance does approve the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances and resolutions that have been passed by council since the last update of the codified ordinances. And this update will codify all pertinent legislation passed by council during 2016, as well as incorporating amendments to the High Revised Code.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 17-20 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Gerhardt, second by Vice Mayor Lewis, that we do approve ordinance 17-20 as presented. Any comments from anyone? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhardt,
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. We do have an ordinance in their second reading, and that is ordinance 17-13. Mr. McDonald?
1713, an ordinance approving a major amendment to the planned unit development for the property located at 117 South Dixie Drive and owned by KH Properties LLC in the OS District with a PUD overlay.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. So this PUD major amendment would allow the construction of a 6-foot-high wooden privacy fence along the south and rear property lines. The property in question is an office service and lies within the downtown PUD overlay. The site contains a 2-story office building that abuts multifamily residential to the rear. The Planning Commission reviewed this request at its April 25th meeting and voted 5-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you. Since this is an ordinance in its second reading, I will open up a public hearing. If there's anyone interested in making comment, would you please come to the podium, state your name and address for our records and your comment. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Move that we approve ordinance 17-13 in its second reading.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Ehlers, second by Councilman Gerhardt, that we do approve ordinance 1713 in its second reading. Any comments? Would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Gerhardt,
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. We have no emergency ordinances this evening, and that brings us to the reports from our boards and commissions, including the Civil Service draft minutes of May the 12th, the Golf Advisory Board draft minutes of May the 23rd, Public Art and Vandalia draft minutes of May the 16th, Vandalia Cultural Arts Committee draft minutes of May the 16th. Are there any comments on any of those? The bill listing for May 2017 is in the amount of $2,594,059.54. And that brings us to council comments, starting with Mr. McDonald. Mr. Cruzy.
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
We're going to start over here with Mr. Blakesley, Councilman Blakesley.
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
How about Councilman Gerhardt?
I don't know if everyone noticed, but we had 18 plus voting issues tonight, and we've had a ton of stuff going on here in our city. So I'd like to compliment City Manager Cruzy and his staff for the excellent job they've been doing keeping us up to date on everything that's going on. And then, I don't know how many viewers there are, encourage everyone to come out to the Star Spangled Celebration. It's probably one of the funnest events that we have. It gets the whole community together, and Councilman Blakesley endorses the band this year, and Rossi's has done a better job year after year of putting on the fireworks. So thank you, John, and thank you to your staff.
Councilman Ehlers.
Nothing. Thank you.
Councilman Herbst.
I'd like to thank Mr. Bergman for attending our workshop and bringing his concerns for our city and our downtown, and some different ideas on what we can maybe do to improve the whole community for our citizens. And I really appreciate his effort to come and speak to us.
Thank you. Councilwoman Farce.
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Okay. Vice Mayor Lewis.
Against my better judgment, I'm going to comment on some statements that were made earlier tonight. Inasmuch as I really truly believe that criticism of our body or of the city is healthy for the organization and healthy for us, I thought the comments went beyond that and bordered on a personal denigration of, an individual and or individuals. And I believe that is unhealthy and it's not appreciated. And I would hope that in the future that the public comments would not be individual, but would address either issues or policy issues as it relates to the people here that are working for the city and on behalf of the citizens. And the last comment I have is very much in support of the sidewalk issue. I think we've been waffling on that for a little while, and I think Mr. Long's comments were well taken. And we need to maybe drive that issue, even though that area is in the township and it's not directly our financial responsibility. I think we can take the bull by the horns there and drive that thing and get a sidewalk from the rec center to Morton. And I'd like to see that get done. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. We will continue. We will go to our workshop that we didn't get finished, and then we will have an executive session afterwards. We will adjourn to the executive session to discuss the possible acquisition of real property and to discuss the performance of the city manager. So with that, we will return